Welcome over to Automotive World, everyone. I'm your host for the industry, and we have some huge news regarding the Kia EV3. This is Kia's brand new entry-level vehicle. This vehicle is going to be sold not only across the entire world in Europe and other continents, but this is going to be coming to the North American market. So this is going to be a huge global model. We have a press release. They finally shown it off. Let's see exactly all the information that we have, what we can get into it. Let's look at the pictures and let's see what do we not know? What can we speculate? Sit down, relax. This one's going to be a little bit of time. We're going to go through it and we're going to have some fun with it. So, like I said, this is going to be the EV3. This is Kia's entry-level EV. This is going to be an SUV. This is going to be a four-door. We don't have any pricing on the vehicle yet. The vehicle is speculating to be starting at around anywhere from 30 to 50,000. Keep in mind that is without any discounts and any incentives, things like that. But starting off, like I said, this is going to be the entry level, the little brother of the EV9. This is going to be in the compact EV SUV segment. We're going to have best in class 600 kilometers driving range. That's going to translate roughly to around 350 miles on a single charge, which is actually not bad in the class. It's still not as much as ICE cars, but that is actually really not bad in the class at all. And Kia is stating there is going to be some fast charging. You're going to be able to get from 10 to 80% in just 31 minutes of charging. So charging times are going down. Are they still at the level of 3 to 5 minutes at a gas station? Absolutely not. But for a lot of people, especially who are just going to use this as a city vehicle, that time to get fast charging to go from 10 to 80%, and if you're in America, roughly 350 miles of driving range, that is actually really not bad at all. Kia's also going to give us some all-new assistants. Everybody's got AI. Kia's got their own AI assistant. We're going to have some premium streaming features, advanced driving assistance systems, new safety features. We are going to have over-the-air updates, which Kia says is going to elevate ownership experience. And we have seen this with a lot of brands, including Tesla, just being able to quickly fix things on the fly. You don't have to come into the dealer, and actually adding new features to the car, which is usually not something in the automotive world that we usually see. Usually you have to buy those features with the car, but you have those over-the-air updates to continue, providing assistance and support and just further, increasing the satisfaction during ownership is really going to be interesting. And it's really cool to see that. And obviously, like I said, this is going to be an EV. This is fully electric. So this is also obviously going to help not only Kia, but all automakers transition over into the full EV portfolio. This is going to come out at a really good time. Like I said, we don't have any pricing for the vehicle. We speculate 30 to 50,000 without any incentives and things like that. But this is coming out at a really interesting time. Obviously, we're going to see more and more EVs come out, but especially where we're seeing here in America, just where the EVs kind of take the back seat, hybrids are coming back, ICE vehicles are, increasing in price. Just what we're seeing with the EV market here in America. This is really interesting for Kia to release something like this at this time. And like I said, obviously, we're going to still see new models come, maybe a little bit slower than what was anticipated, but it's still really interesting to see something like this at this time. And let's get right back into this article right here, right into our press release right here. Kia is going to talk about the design here. They talk about how, they've taken a lot of what they've done with the EV9, brought it over to the EV3. We see a lot of that. The vertical headlamps, the tiger stance, the ultra wide body. They do have, we see it with the DR, with our daytime running lights. We see it with the signature lighting. We can really see this kind of looks like, and we can even see from the back too, which we'll get into those pictures. This really kind of does look like in a lot of ways an EV9 shrunken down. The front, there is a little bit of difference between the EV9, but it really does look like, something very similar in that design language. Kia on the EV3 is going to offer 9 body colors. This is going to be really interesting because usually with most cars nowadays, maybe we'll see 3, 4, maybe 5 colors if we're lucky, but 9 body colors. This is going to be really cool. So there's probably going to be a color for everyone out there. This is going to be really awesome. Kia also does talk about with the design, transition to the hatchback style tailgate. Something like I said we have seen on the EV9 as well. We can kind of see that as well right here, and we'll get into these pictures a little bit more so we can see them, but we can really see here how it does look very much like an EV9. Also looks very similar to some of Polestar's electric vehicles as well. I think the design, which we'll get into, like I said, really they knocked it out of the park. In terms of the interior, we're going to have a center console, which is going to incorporate a sliding table, storage area. They talk about using it for your personal items, your backpacks, your laptops, tablets, things like that can be stored there. They do have multi-adjustable ambient lighting with ultra comfortable seats. We'll have to see how those seats are, but they can fold back into relaxation mode. Sliding table, which can just you can slide it out. Occupants can, as they say, enjoy maximum relaxation. Pretty decent storage, a 25-liter frunk. Obviously this is an EV. Not a lot of EVs have frunks, most of them do, but we do have 25 liters of storage up in the front, which is really not bad at all. And then in our rear load capacity, 460 liters of space. So as EV3, as they mention here, largest luggage space in its class. So this is going to be a small vehicle, but you're really going to get quite a lot of space. It's really going to be quite practical. They talk about here with the adjustable 2-tier luggage board, that's going to provide over 144 meters of load height flexibility. So like I said, I mean, we've got some really useful stuff here. In terms of, we have widescreen displays nearing 30 inches in total, 12.3 inch cluster. We have 5-inch air conditioning panel, another 12.3 inch, looks like audio video navigation display. We're gonna have tons of tons of screens in this. And this is something that we see across every automaker. The entire dashboard is just a screen, and that is no exception to Kia and the other EVs that they sell as well, just some of their other vehicles as well. Like I said too, not only we're going to have 9 different body colors, we're also going to have a ton of interior colors. We'll have some exclusive for GT line, but we'll have things like subtle gray, we'll have a warm gray, we'll have blue, air, earth, water. I mean, we are going to have a ton of stuff on here. Getting onto the drivetrain, this is really where it really gets really interesting, because Kia left out a lot of information regarding drivetrain and pricing, but they also gave us enough to ask some questions. So looking at this right here, the Kia EV3, we don't know if it's going to come in a dual motor. It's probably not going to come in a tri or quad motor. We do know obviously it's going to be at least a single motor electric motor, but we do have 2 different types of battery size that they're going to have. On the standard model, it's going to have 58.3 kilowatt hour battery. On the long range model, 81.4 kilowatt hour battery. So that is definitely a considerable difference, a considerable size. So keep in mind, obviously, Kia is stating on here that they are going to have 600 kilometers of range. That when you when you convert that into miles, that does roughly get you to around 350 miles. Keep in mind, obviously, that's more than likely going to be with the long range battery. So with that lesser range battery, maybe we might see about 260 miles or so. We will have to see on that, but it's still not too terrible for the class. We don't have any pricing information, so we can't price it up and see where it sits, but this is going to be a bit interesting. We do have some considerably larger batteries in this. In the model here, both models utilize a 150 kilowatt hour motor, 283 newton meters. That's going to give us a 0 to 100 kilometer time of 7.5 seconds. So that's not bad. It's gonna have enough pounce, I think, for your city driving. This isn't meant to be a performance EV by any means at all. They do talk about a maximum speed of 170 kilometers an hour. Kia doesn't leave out though, or they don't give us any information in terms of, are they going to add a performance model? Are they going to, on the long range battery, are they going to give us a dual motor? Obviously, keep in mind, they do tell us what we do get at launch here, but they don't tell us if we're going to get anything else. More than likely, I think it's probably going to be a single motor, but they don't tell us if it's going to be a dual motor, nor do they tell us also, is this going to be an all-wheel, is this going to have all-wheel drive optional or standard? It would be interesting to see. I don't think on a vehicle like this you would probably not need all-wheel drive, but there probably will be people who want it, who do live like in states that do snow and all that quite a lot. So usually with most automakers, when they do an all-wheel drive with an EV, it usually is then a dual motor. So it'll be really interesting to see how they configure this. We do, like I said, have battery specs. We do have some 0 to 100 kilometer timing. We also do have some maximum speeds here, and we also do have, like I said, some rating on the motors itself. But we don't know if they're planning to do any sort of other performance trims or things like that down the pipeline. Like I said, they are going to give us 600 kilometers of range. That's going to translate to roughly 350 miles here in the United States. And then obviously we do have that fast charging in approximately 31 minutes, 10 to 80%. And keep in mind, obviously, that 350 miles, that is going to be using the long range battery. So we don't have any official range numbers for that, smaller 58.3 kilowatt hour battery. Maybe it might be around 260, 280 miles. So we will have to see how that does turn out. In terms of just some more technology and safety, this vehicle obviously is going to have a lot of technology, tons and tons of driver assistance systems, electric dynamic torque vectoring control. We're going to have forward collision avoidance, lane keep assist, highway driving assist, reverse parking collision and avoidance assist. That will also have pedestrian assist as well. We're going to have heads-up display, a 12-inch heads-up display, so quite a sizable heads-up display. Kia's EV3 is also going to be the first model to benefit from the new Pedal 3.0 regenerative braking technology. So we do have some more regenerative braking. You're going to be able to adjust those levels according to just driver preference. We are going to be having one pedal driving in this, which a lot of people really like that in EVs, and it really is quite useful. It does bring back a lot of electricity that would otherwise be wasted and just gone out when you're braking and things, and actually put it back into the battery. So that is really cool to see that. We do have some other tech here. Obviously, we're going to have the digital key. So, if you want to, turn it on and start it and things like that from your phone and stuff, obviously we're going to have that. You will obviously still have, a physical key and things like that. But, if you don't carry your keys with you, you can do everything from your smartphone. So that's really cool to see that. This isn't the first time Kia has done this. A lot of automakers do that with their cars, but it's cool to see that still come over here. In terms of just some more technology, digital connectivity, infotainment systems, things like that, Kia does talk about premium streaming services delivered through LG's automotive content platform. They obviously have their, powered by LG's WebOS. A lot of, you can find WebOS and things like that a lot in LG's smart TVs and things like that, giving you a web browser, things like that, allowing you to play games in the car, allowing other occupants to do gaming in the car. They are also going to have a Harman Kardon audio system. They do not talk about how many speakers or what the wattage of that system is going to be. They do say it is going to deliver similar to what a home cinema would deliver. I'm not so sure about that. We'll have to probably listen to it ourselves, but it is going to have a pretty nice system. In terms of just, we're going to obviously have, the AI in there. So obviously you'll be able to use a ton of, different streaming services and things like that. Introducing also Kia's AI, allowing, customers to give prompts and things, and the EV3 can respond, whether it's, changing the AC and things like that, those kind of, things. Obviously, as well, we also do have some more, infotainment stuff. They will have different themes, which is really cool. They are partnering with NBA teams to inspire display themes. That's really cool. I wish more car companies would do that with their infotainment stuff. I think their infotainment systems just look very plain, very boring, usually just like black and just nothing. So I think to have some themes is really quite cool. They also talk about there'll be a bunch of different colors to choose from, graphics, animations, things like that. Not really, not really useful per se to the vehicle, but just kind of gives it a little bit, just makes it a little bit more fun. Just kind of allows the customer just to kind of do some more customizations, and it's just a feel-good thing. It's not a functional thing, but it's a feel-good thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. They also talk about with the EV3, it's going to be the first model, like I said, to feature Kia's AI assistant technology. It's recently made the debut on the K4 compact sedan. That is the compact sedan that is replacing the Forte, so rest in peace to the Forte. But it's just, with that AI, it's going to give them a lot of different controls and ways to interact with the vehicle. it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be pretty cool, you know, whether it's, like I said, whether it's vehicle functions, AC, things like that, whether it's, hey, search up something, what time does this place close, directions to whatnot, you know, those basic things are going to be assisted by that AI. So it's really cool to see that. This is something that, you know, a lot of cars are starting to implement, as AI is especially kind of blowing up right now. So that's really cool to see that they're implementing that into the car. And then they do talk about some accessibility, things like that. Obviously, you know, this is, you know, Kia talking about, hey, we're moving forward into our plans into, you know, full EV, sustainability, things like that. This is a big model for Kia. You know, this is going to be the entry-level EV SUV. We don't have any official pricing. However, this vehicle is speculating to be around 30 to 50,000 depending on trim. I would like to see it a little bit lower price just because of the size, but there are very few vehicles of this size in that class. Polestar, as I mentioned, is one of them, and Polestar does have a very similar pricing, anywhere from around 35 to, you know, around 50. So if it was 50,000, obviously probably being with that long range battery, I think for a lot of people they would be very, you know, disappointed because of the price, but it wouldn't necessarily be uncompetitive with the market. I do think though Kia does have a chance here just with how big they are. They could even maybe undercut some people a little bit, especially with where they're seeing in the United States with EVs, just the market volatility and things like that. Looking at our pictures here, so this is what the front looks like. It's, you know, as we can see, kind of the T shape in here. It's a really nice looking front. Honestly, it is a little bit more on the rounded side, but it's a really nice looking front of the vehicle. You know, we have our top view here. Obviously, we can see where the, you know, the roof is going to end here. We can see, you know, it's really nice looking. It's very small. I really can't understate how small this car is going to be. This is, like they say, a compact vehicle. We have another picture of it right here. Looks still really good as well. You know, we've got the different, you know, the way they do all the graphics and things like that, the cladding. It looks really nice. Especially, it is a little bit of a busy look as well, but they made it look really good because you've got the black here, you got this kind of color here, you've got your gray down here. So you've actually got a lot of things kind of going on there, which is really cool to see that. You've got another view right here, really nice to see. A nice view of the exterior here. One thing I did find interesting, which we also didn't see on the teaser, this vehicle is not really meant to be a towing rig or anything. I don't see them with a tow hitch on here. They probably wouldn't show it with a tow hitch on here in these press releases, but this is not really going to be a vehicle meant to do any sort of towing and things like that. But we don't have one here, so that's just something to mention. We have a really nice picture kind of the front here. Really cool to see that. You know, if we come into the back here and we zoom in, really cool pictures here. It's a really good looking car overall, honestly. I think I think it looks well. I think it looks good. Now, do I think it looks better than like an Elantra N or something like that? Absolutely not. But I think it's really, for an EV, I think it's quite a good looking one. They really kind of nailed the design. Here's the interior. Here's a really good picture. So let's get into this. First of all, let's start with the door here. We can see also, you know, with the center console here, we've got a lot of storage space down here. A little bit of a smaller center console, but we can also see where the table is, how that folds out. So really quite a lot of usability, a lot of storage down here. Over coming to the door here in the window, we can see our window control buttons and things like that. We've got some physical buttons here, and that's probably going to be for our heated and cooled seats. We've got the door handle here. We do have a barcode here. That's a bit interesting. I wonder what that barcode does, but that's a bit interesting. We do have our vents here, and we can actually see they do look like some older school vents. You know, we have the little tabs here, so we can, you know, you can adjust your vents. I personally like that. I don't like those, you know, the vents you adjust in the software and all that. I think it's cool, but I'm really not a fan of those. So it is cool that we have that here. We zoom out. We do have at the top here, so we can see some touch capacitive buttons for the large, and screen here. And this is going to be mixed with vehicle functions, infotainment system, speedometer, and things like that. Coming down to the bottom here for AC, we do have some physical buttons down here, which is really, really nice to see. We have dual climate temperature buttons. We do have some fan speed buttons. It looks like we have some mode buttons here as well. That's really, really good to see. We do also have another button here as well. The touch capacitive buttons here on the steering wheel. We do have some physical buttons. Really, really nice to see that. I also hate touch capacitive buttons on the steering wheel. They don't feel good. Your hands are on the wheel. They always get dirty. This is really, really cool, and we've seen this across all the Kia's, all their steering wheels. Physical buttons, the little dials and things like that. I'm still not a fan of where the Kia logo is. I don't like how it's offset like that, but that's just my personal preference. I wish they would just put it in the middle. But like I said, that's just me, but I'm glad we do have some physical buttons here. We have stalks and things here. Obviously, we have our shifter right here. We have the drive shifter, so this is going to be a column shifter essentially. We have some more window controls, things like that. We have some more door controls and door buttons, things like that up there. We have, our mirrors here. Really, really cool to see that. We do have some, some vents here for the defrosting, things like that. Really, really nice looking interior as well. Looks like kind of soft touch, a lot of soft touch materials here. Really, really like the color choices and things that they did. Also, kind of the orange down here gives it quite a bit of pop. We come on this side here. We've got some, we can see a better view of the controls. We have our drive mode button right here. We do have some buttons down here. So we have our electronic parking brake. We do have the auto hold, and then we do have our traction control, our traction control down there. So that's really, really cool to see. We do have our window controls and things like that right here. All the window controls here as well. Child locks, mirror controls, things like that. We can see like some speakers things. Coming back over here, we have our volume control, so that is really nice to have a physical volume control. Obviously, we do have them on the steering wheel as well, but it's really, really nice to have it here. Really nice to kind of have it in the center too, just so that way it's kind of accessible to both people. We can see the screen here. Really, really nice looking screen. They got, some colors going on here. Really, really cool to see that. Steering wheel looks really nice. We've seen this wheel before on other Kia products. We've got our cruise control, things like that, adaptive cruise control, volume, all that good stuff. This is the most fun part here. We got another picture of the interior. So right here also we have some more. We actually have some buttons on the console itself up top here. So we do have our center console right here. Like I said, the center console is actually quite small. We have a lot of storage space down here, but the center console itself is actually quite small. But this little table that we have there is going to fold out. We actually do have some buttons on here. And so we've got auto hold. We've got, looks like our parking, parking sensors and things like that, a round view monitor. We've got some buttons up there, which is really, really cool to see that. We've got a nice kind of view here of it head on. And then pretty much down here now, these are just going to be renders of when the vehicle, before it was actually officially a thing. We do have, it is really cool that they put that they actually put the artwork of what they did. A lot of times companies, they usually don't do that. They might just put like one or two, but we actually do have from Kia Design here. We actually have the signature for like the drawings and things. It's really cool to see how they took the artwork, sketched it out, recreated it digitally, and then actually, made it, into a real thing. And then also down here, it's really cool. We can also see, in the sketch work here, which we would see in that other picture. So right down here we have USB-C. Looks like we got another one right here. Let's see actually if we can see that on that other picture. So if we look on the head-on view. So if we look on the head-on view, it would actually be right down here. Now we can't see it because it's blacked out, unfortunately. But we can see in the artist drawings that that's where those, those ports and things like that are going to be. we're speculating this vehicle to be 30 to 50. When this vehicle was first, teased off, some people were thinking, even, I myself, we talked about it, maybe mid 20s or high 20s. We'll have to wait and see. We really will have to wait and see, especially here in the United States. Depending on where this is built, we will have to see, because obviously, depending on where it is built, it will determine what type of EV incentives and things like that this vehicle is eligible for, if it's even eligible for any incentives here in the United States. So we will have to see on that. That's going to do the video for now, though. This was a really long video, so for those of you who stuck with me till the end, I really, really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Did Kia, they smashed up the park? Did they fail in places? What did you like? What did you not like? Let me know what you guys think down below. And that's going to do it for now. Thanks for watching, everyone.